Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Storm Adventure Time, and my name is Storm, and today I would like to share a few travel tips around England. I've been traveling quite a lot in the past few years, and I think I have a bit of the information about traveling which might be helpful for people who have not traveled that much or coming to England for the first time. So I will start with intercity travel, which is mainly trains and coaches because that's what I'm using. I never used a plane between cities in England, so there will be two travel options between the cities in this video. And then at the end of the video I will share a few quick tips about travel within the cities once you get to the destination, so stay tuned. So let's start with trains and coaches. I will be comparing them side by side because both of them have great things and some things which are not that great. So I think the easiest way to explore them is to compare them side by side. So first thing is the price. In my opinion, coaches are much cheaper than trains. And for example, I recently went to Northern England, and if you haven't seen those videos, I will leave them linked on the screen and in the description box below as well, so you can check them out. And I had two options. I could take a train, which would take me around, I think, 3 hours or so to get from London to Leeds, and then from Liverpool to London. However, the train tickets were around over £100 one way, so it is quite pricey, and it ended up being cheaper for me to pay for an extra night in those cities and travel by coach, even though the journey took around 5 hours one way. But then you need to decide what is your preference. However, if you plan well in advance, you can get quite reasonable tickets even if you travel by train, but I would say it's more for shorter destinations or if you manage to get a really good deal. Also, if you're looking at the price, the earlier you buy tickets, it doesn't matter whether it's a coach or a train, the earlier you buy them, the cheaper they will be. For example, with a coach, I managed to get deals like £4.50 total for going from London to Bristol, from Bristol to Cardiff, and then from Cardiff back to London. And I paid for the whole journey £4.50, and at that time I used Megabus, so you quite often can get tickets for £1 plus you pay 50p booking fee. And my recent trip, which I did in Northern England, I bought tickets for myself, my sister and brother-in-law, and we traveled from Leeds to Manchester and then from Manchester to Liverpool, and for 3 people those two trips cost in total £20, so you can get a really great deal. And if you are considering trains, obviously there's always off-peak is the best option, so usually it's after 9:30 in the morning, and weekends, for example, I managed to get to Brighton from London for I think around £10–12 return, so I think that's an amazing deal, which you just need to look around and find options. Also, price depends from which station you're going and which train company you're using, because traveling from London Victoria to Brighton is more expensive than traveling, let's say, from London Bridge. So take a look at National Rail website, compare the prices and see what works best for you. So as I already mentioned, comparing trains and coaches, my trip to Leeds would have taken around 2–3 hours with the train, and it took me around 5 hours by coach. So obviously trains are much faster than coaches, so you might want to consider this as well when booking what are your plans, how flexible you are with time, and what works better for you. Personally, I have never used overnight service, but you might want to look into that option as well if this would work, because you might be able to get overnight coach, which would work much cheaper for you, and it might be absolutely fine with your plans. Next thing which I would like to address is how reliable the transport option is. For example, if you are traveling by train, it is more likely that you will arrive at the scheduled time because there is no traffic. But if you're traveling by coach, obviously there is a traffic, and if there is an accident on the road, you might take very long time. However, trains can have incidents and the trains can get cancelled and they can be delayed, but I find them much more reliable considering how on time they arrive, at least from my experience. Another thing is frequency. How frequently the trains and coaches travel from one location to another. So I find that trains are more frequent and they're much easier to get to, because you might have a coach for certain destinations going, let's say, only in the morning and only in the evening, and it will not work for you. And you will have trains which might be going every 10 minutes, sometimes every half an hour, depending on the destination. And I find the trains are much better in that sense if you want something that goes much more frequently and you need more flexibility with your plans. So that is one of the tips. If you're planning in advance and you know when you're going to go somewhere, of course, coaches are perfect for that if the time works for you. Alright, and the final point which I would like to discuss about coaches and trains is destinations. Personally, I find that it's much easier to find a train going to the destination where I want to go than a coach. And it's not always because no coaches are going to that place, but because they go so infrequently that it just doesn't work with my plans. For example, I wanted to get tickets to go for a day trip from Leeds to York, but it did not work out because coaches are going, but they go from Leeds to York in the evening and from York to Leeds in the morning. So the day trip doesn't work because I would need to go in the morning to York and to come back in the evening. So that's why I find trains to be more flexible because they are always available throughout the day. So that's it for the trains and coaches, and now let's jump into a few tips I have about traveling within the city or any other destination you get into. Alright, and now let's get into the second part of the video with a few tips about traveling locally once you get to the destination. So first of all, of course, my favorite travel option is walking, and that is of course for free, and I think the one which allows you to explore the area to the fullest, because you can see the most when you are walking. You can all stop whenever you want, so I think that's an amazing option. Of course, I am talking more about out of London options. I'm not gonna talk about London because I already did a video about transport in London, so if you have not seen that video, I will leave it linked on the screen and description box below, so check that out. And what you can use in other cities. Of course, every single city has their own bus system. Some cities have trams, some cities have buses, and some cities have both. They have tram, they have buses, some have metros, so there are a variety of different options for traveling. I would say even though there are different companies providing bus service in different cities, but I noticed that one company really stands out, and that is Fast. So I used them traveling around Cornwall, I used them in Bristol, I used them in Leeds, so they're all over England. And I usually use the app to check when the buses are coming, to check the routes, which is very convenient. And if you're planning to take buses quite a lot throughout the day or even for a week, you can get an electronic ticket on the app and use that ticket just to scan your QR code at the bus. You don't need to carry the paper one, especially if you tend to lose it like I might do. So that is very convenient. Of course, as I said, there are different bus companies, and I would suggest to take a look online for that specific city where you're traveling. What are the companies, how the payment options are, how much is it. But to be honest, I noticed that a lot of places nowadays accept contactless cards, so it's really easy to make payments. Some cities like Manchester also have trams, which makes it much quicker travel than buses, so also make sure you check that option out, especially if you decide to get accommodation a little bit further from the city center or the places which you're planning to explore. Another thing which I noticed is that some places they have special services. So for example, Manchester has 3 buses around central Manchester, which is absolutely amazing initiative created by the city, which is very convenient. Also, if you're going to the place where is a special event, make sure you check out if there are special shuttles, like there is a special shuttle in Bristol for the Bristol Hot Air Balloon Festival that is chargeable, but it brings you straight to your destination. And last but not least option is Uber. I would say that option is not very cost effective if you are traveling by yourself, but if it's a free for people group, I think that works out really well no matter where you travel, because public transport tickets for free or for people will cost very similar to what you would pay for an Uber. Also, in some places, if you need, for example, to go very early or very late at night somewhere, there might be no public transport at that time available at all, so you might find Uber really well working for you because they go 24/7. And also, as a solo traveler, I use Uber once in a while because I don't feel sometimes safe wandering around in a dark, in a familiar location, trying to find the bus stop and to figure out how to get to the place I want to. So I find it peace of mind just using an Uber. They come pick you up, bring you to the right destination. One of the reasons why I use Uber as well sometimes when I'm traveling alone, even though it's not cost effective. Alright, so that's all for my travel tips around England. I hope you find it useful, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share your tips in the comments below, and if you would like to see more of my travel videos and once in a while crafty ones as well, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week. Bye!